Henry from Belgium here. Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic LEGO train sets from the 1970s. The LEGO 725-2 freight train set from 1974. A set with 5 rolling stock elements, including an electric 12-volt locomotive running on a classic blue rail loop. This set is often described as LEGO's first true 12-volt train, but that's not entirely accurate. Back in 1969, LEGO released set 720-2, followed by 722-2 in 1970, both featuring a 12V motor. However, those earlier sets were much simpler and received far less attention, both in terms of packaging and promotion. It wasn't until 1974, with set 725-2, that LEGO introduced a luxuriously presented freight train that truly stood out. So, while this isn't the very first 12-volt set, it is the first to be presented as a complete and collectible 12-volt experience. With this set, I really want to take the time to discuss the box in detail, because this is more than just packaging. It's a piece of LEGO heritage, a presentation item in its own right. And as is often the case with vintage boxes such as these, their condition heavily influences their value. I own 2 copies of this box. The first one looks fine at first glance. No tears, no major damage. The yellow cardboard insert, the foam, and the 2 windowed flaps are still present. But underneath, the foam is missing, and damage becomes apparent. The 2 cardboard side compartments are gone, as is the center foam tray for the wagons, so the pieces just rattle around loose inside. That takes away much of the charm. At first, I thought of restoring this box myself and making it complete, a fun project on its own. But as luck would have it, I stumbled upon a better copy, complete with inner structure and all original cardboard flaps. And only then do you truly appreciate how impressive this packaging was meant to be. The interior is luxuriously arranged in 4 sections. At the top, there's a yellow cardboard and foam, holding the pre-assembled locomotive and coal wagon. A flap with a plastic window covers this tray, allowing buyers to see what's inside. Below that are 3 compartments. The outer 2 are small cardboard boxes for loose parts. The center contains a foam block with molded spaces to fit the 3 wagons. That section also has a cardboard lid with a plastic viewing window. The whole setup was clearly designed for maximum visual impact. LEGO wanted this to look like a deluxe set on the toy store shelf, and it absolutely succeeded. Finding a box like this in great shape isn't easy. Parts do show up from time to time, but complete original packaging, especially with all cardboard inserts, windows, and foam in good condition, is rare. The front of the box shows the entire train in a simple but striking composition. On the back, there are a few images of a boy playing with the set. There are no suggestions for alternate builds, because there aren't any. The instructions consist of a large fold-out sheet with clear step-by-step visuals. The locomotive and coal wagon come pre-assembled in the box, but you can still build them using the instructions. The 3 remaining wagons are built separately using a very basic child-friendly layout, typical 1970s, hand-drawn, minimalistic, but effective. Before building, here are some notable aspects that make this set stand out. The locomotive and coal wagon come pre-assembled, rare for LEGO sets. The set does not include a transformer, but it does come with the essential electric train track contact base with wire, needed to power the locomotive. If you're buying this set secondhand, this part needs to be there. The rubber traction bands on the locomotive wheels are critical for grip. They wear out over time, so replacements are a must if you want smooth running. The stickers on the locomotive and coal wagon are unique and historically interesting. The DB logo and set number refer to the Deutsche Bundesbahn. Lego didn't have a license at the time, but the logo was familiar in Germany and widely accepted due to the large market presence there. Although this set originally came without a transformer, I was lucky enough to find one. And not just any one. I own an original Lego transformer type 741-1, released in 1974. It's the blue model with a red rotary knob, rated for 220 volts AC input. It was sold separately as an add-on for the 12-volt system. Mine is complete, with original box and manuals, making it a perfect functional and aesthetic match for this set. The locomotive has a classic 1970s design, a sturdy rectangular body with a colourful smokestack. One of the first things you notice is the smokestack's colour combination, black at the bottom, then yellow and red. That trio of colours is probably not a coincidence. It seems to be a subtle nod to the German flag. On either side of the locomotive, two yellow piston rods move along as the train runs, a charming visual feature. The motor is firmly built in and connects to the system via the previously mentioned electric train contact base and a transformer. As usual for Lego 12-volt trains of the era, the magnets are color-coded, blue in front, red in back, which means correct orientation is needed when coupling wagons. A small but clever interactive element that teaches polarity through play. The coal wagon, placed directly behind the locomotive, is a compact build on a short fixed chassis of 6x12. It features fixed red wheels and magnetic couplings. The most eye-catching detail is the presence of two black-on-white DB725 stickers, identical to the ones on the locomotive. These stickers are quite fragile, often faded or peeling on used copies, so a well-preserved set with intact decals is a real bonus. As mentioned, both of these vehicles came pre-assembled in the box, but that doesn't mean there's nothing left to build. There are still 3 additional wagons, and of course, the track layout itself. The set includes a full oval loop of classic blue Lego 12-volt rails, along with the necessary white plates to stabilize the track. Assembly is simple but effective. Once clicked together, the loop stays firmly in place. Visually, the blue rails contrast nicely with the black undercarriage of the train and complete the vintage presentation. In addition to the clean rubber tires on the wheels, it goes without saying that you should also check whether all the tracks are clean and undamaged. This ensures the best possible play experience. This already works brilliantly, and I'm curious to see what the final result will look like with all the wagons attached. This wagon features a large yellow tipping container mounted on a black frame, all sitting on a 6x16 preformed train base. The tipper can tilt to the left or right to simulate dumping cargo, though no actual cargo elements are included with the set. Still, the simple tipping mechanism works well and adds play value. Coupling is done via the standard red and blue magnet system. Be mindful of alignment, as magnets of the same color repel each other. This wagon, commonly referred to as a cement wagon by collectors, is also built on a standard black 6x16 train base with red and blue magnets. The construction has a foundation of black standard bricks, followed by 2 circular white silos. These are built using round corner 2x2 macaroni with stud notch bricks forming the lower structure. On top of each silo sits a rare white 4x4x3 cone, a part that only appears in a handful of vintage sets from the 1970s. And finally capped with a 1x1 round brick with closed stud. An important historical detail for accuracy, as open stud versions came later. The final result is a clean design with a slightly asymmetrical layout, which adds a subtle dynamic touch. There's no functional feature, but the build invites imagination. The striking silhouette and use of rare elements make this wagon one of the more eye-catching parts of the train. The final wagon is a closed unit built entirely from classic red bricks. Mostly 1x2, 1x4, 1x6, and a few 2s×3s. These are early 1970s bricks, still without cross supports inside, making them unique to this vintage era. The wagon is also built on a 6x16 black train base with integrated magnets. On each side, there are swinging doors with transport stickers printed in white on red, exclusive to this set. Transparent window bricks are added on one side for extra detail. Although the wagon's interior is empty, it has a sturdy and functional appearance and acts as a visually strong closing piece for the train. You can load quite a bit of cargo into this wagon, and it pairs nicely with sets like the charming Set 615, forklift and truck from 1975. Of course, you can also expand your train with additional rolling stock, such as the 147 refrigerated wagon released in 1976. Once everything is assembled and coupled, it's time to power up the set using the 741 transformer. The motor starts with a gentle hum, and the locomotive slowly pulls away. The wagons follow smoothly, the magnets stay connected, and the rubber traction bands provide solid grip. As it moves, the yellow piston rods animate the motion, bringing the train to life. It's not a fast train, but it doesn't have to be. This is a charming freight train from 1974, and it behaves exactly as it should. It's not a complex build, but it transports you straight back to another era of Lego. The colors, the motor, the styling, everything just clicks. This set truly shines in terms of presentation, nostalgia, and mechanical function. For collectors, this is a top-tier set. I'm proud to have found and preserved this set in such good condition. All original parts, a working motor, and the correct transformer. Let me know in the comments what you think of this set, and don't forget to subscribe for more vintage LEGO content. It's completely free. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.